What is the crack, everyone? It's Nathan here, aka the Rambling Kern, and head instructor of Kern School of Combat. So I am currently working on a number of videos at the moment, but we've had a exceptionally wet summer in Ireland, so unfortunately most of the videos that I have are all work in progress at the moment. So like I said, I do have a lot of really cool stuff coming, but a lot of that involves filming outdoors, and I can't really do that when it's hammering down rain, so it is on the way. But anyway, I thought I'd continue with the sparring notes series, and this is one that I think is really important to address for especially beginners or people who don't have a huge amount of experience in Irish stick fighting. And it's quite a simple yet important concept, and that is getting into the habit of using your offhand, or in other words, if I have a stick in my right hand, as I'm right-handed, I need to get used to using my left hand. Now, like I've discussed, grappling is an important part of all martial arts, especially weapon-based ones, and more so stick fighting. But if you're interested, you'll see my previous video on that. Now the thing is, not just for grappling, but obviously when people enter into specific ranges, you need to be able to strike as well. And that can be something as simple as, you've blocked a incoming strike with a stick and you can throw out a punch. Something as simple as that. But obviously, like I mentioned before, when they swing a stick, there's plenty of opportunity for you to both grab their stick. Unlike a sword, you don't need hand protection to be able to safely grab onto another stick and try yank it out of their grasp. So learning how to use your offhand, if you're doing a one-handed style, is very important. Now for the likes of the Doyle style, the majority of what they do is with two hands. So obviously there's a lot more familiarity with using both sides. However, if you're practicing a style where primarily you're using one hand, it's very easy to get fixated on the stick itself. And I think that's a really important thing to drill into beginners, that this is merely one weapon of many. This is a force multiplier, that's what sticks do, but the rest of you and the person wielding the weapon is really the weapon itself. So getting used to throwing punches, grappling, grabbing hold of their weapon, looking for disarms, even something as simple as pushing their face, or pushing the head off center line, or even pushing their hand. I know a lot of styles will call that trapping. You'll see that in a lot of Asian arts of various different types. And within even the Antrim styles, a number of strikes off of blocks, strikes with the left hand, or the non-dominant hand, should we say. I always like to say with anyone I train that this is your good hand and this is your better hand. There's no good and bad. Positive reinforcement is important. And if you keep telling yourself this one hand is useless, then you're never going to use it. But also to get into the habit of the inevitability of when you spar with sticks, be it a mess up on your end, be it the stick is slippy, your gloves don't fit, or someone just hits you well in the hand. You also need to get into the focus of, if I lose my stick and this gets knocked out of my grip for whatever reason, this is still completely valid. Like, the fight isn't over just because I've dropped my stick or lost my stick or been hit in the hand. And we see numerous different cases of all different types of weapon-based combat where someone loses a weapon and the fight still continues, be it through grappling, be it through unarmed striking, whatever. So it's really important that people don't get fixated on just using the stick itself. And something you see a lot, and this is even with quite well-seasoned practitioners, is that sometimes a stick will get grabbed, be it your own stick or your partner's stick, and people get fixated on just holding onto it. Now, like I said, you still have a second hand. So let's say you're both holding onto one stick, you still have a second hand here to hit them, to grab their hand, pull it free, numerous different things. But it's a really important thing, and you see it, like I said, in multiple different arts, where this hand has a lot of different utility done to it. Now I know in especially Southeast Asian martial arts, there's a lot of use of knives in the left hand. It's a great training tool. I've done it in the past with some Southeast Asian arts that I've practiced. But one thing I would say with that is, within the realm of Ireland, it was very much frowned upon, the use of knives within faction fights, and there was all sorts of kind of negative views upon them for a multitude of different reasons. So it's not something we really see which is why it can take a little bit of getting used to for people to just use this hand, especially when it's just kind of floating out there. Sometimes you get kind of the limp hand where it's just kind of floating here and people don't really know what to do with it. So there's some very simple things you can do, which really do help. And some simple drills I use are basically striking, be it, say, for example, with a backhand or a forehand strike, and immediately, for example, throwing a backhand and throwing a punch behind it, or throwing up a block and immediately a punch behind it, or a grab or a shove. Just getting into the rhythm of doing that, and there should be like a rhythm to it as well. It should be, 1-2. Anyone who's done boxing will know what I'm talking about. You don't throw a punch of 1-2. It should be 1-2, and one immediately after the other. It's the same thing you want with the stick. You don't want to hit, pause, and then hit. You want the strikes to be as quick and as fluid as possible, and that's very important that we train these things, because our partner, or our opponent I should say, will always be moving in and out of different ranges, trying to do different things. If we get too focused on the stick, it can be very easy to fall into various different traps. Now, that's not to say that we shouldn't, primarily focus on the stick. We are practicing stick fighting, but it is important to understand that we have a multitude of other weapons available to us, both our hands, our head, our elbows, our knees, all that sort of fun stuff. So striking is always available to us, as well as, using this hand for other things. So if that is something you would like to have a look at, I'm happy to show some things in the future. There are some drills I use with my students, and there's some kind of important notes I think that are very important for people to understand as to how to utilize this other hand, rather than just leaving it floating out there and actually focusing on using it for things. Now, like I said, I do have a lot of videos in the works. My apologies for the delays on them. The weather here has been atrocious this summer, so hopefully it'll improve a little bit and I can show you guys some of the cool things I've been doing. And if you're interested in this series and would like to see more of my kind of rambling thoughts on sparring and things that come up in stick fighting, please do let me know. I'd be more than happy to share it. I am in the process of setting up a Discord for all of my Patreons so that we can chat to each other and kind of discuss things further, and I can share more ideas on there and take direct video requests, as well as do direct videos for those people. So if you're interested in sponsoring the channel that way, you can, for as little or as much as you want. I really do appreciate all those people. You are fantastic, and you allow me to continue doing this. For everyone else, if you can like and subscribe, that really does help the channel, and I really do appreciate it. The channel's really been growing, and I'm just so thankful to you all for it. So like I said, if you're interested in this series and you want to see more, do let me know. Feel free to comment below and let me know what you think. Let me know sort of things that you do to utilize your offhand. Like I said, there's a multitude of drills that I use, but it's always good to hear from other arts and other people and kind of hear what they do. And like I said, there's a difference between the two arts that I teach. The Antrim style obviously is primarily one-handed. We do have two-handed techniques, but there's specific techniques we use for utilizing that offhand. And the dual style, obviously having two hands on the stick most of the time, there's kind of techniques obviously that go in line with that. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I can't thank you enough. I hope everyone's having a wonderful summer and is staying safe out there. Once again, thank you very much, and Slán.